Hi, good Tuesday, and welcome back. It is the 7th day of February, and pretty much as was expected, showers. Not as many thunderstorms for us here in the viewing area, and none reported here, specifically over top of the newsroom, and those showers are on their way out of town. They're going to hang around for a little while this evening. We'll see a bit of a break in the action just until or for as long as it takes a cold front to bring some back into the picture tomorrow afternoon and evening, and that cold front will also bring in some colder air, obviously, while some of that moisture is still in place, and that could see some rain change over to some snow. We'll see some colder air on the backside of it, but not for long, and then back to the 50s, maybe even 60s will go for your weekend. It is Kentucky weather, after all. Once again, thank you for being here and being a part of the program. A Montgomery County grand jury indicted 11 people on 12 indictments that I'll be reporting to you in just a few moments. We'll also have a report on a Montgomery County man who made a court appearance yesterday in London trying to get an appeal for his over 20-year drug sentence as he sits in federal prison. Also, an auto accident that happened earlier today. Two men reported to have been unconscious. Call coming in to 911 will tell you what authorities found at the scene, and some other news and information this Tuesday, this rainy, wet, albeit warm Tuesday. Once again, February the 7th. Felt like anything but February out there. The City Council of Sagersville has a special meeting called for tomorrow evening. Just received the agenda. The meeting time set for 6. Approval of the minutes, business pertaining to the previous meeting, an executive session is scheduled, as well as the discussion of making an appointment to fill in the vacant council seat left behind by the resignation of Jeff Ross. We'll have a camera there and a report the following day. Once again, that special session of the Sagersville City Council set for tomorrow at 6. I've got a couple of announcements to make on our community calendar about a couple of events we just learned about today. We'll get to those in just a few moments. Let's go ahead and go on over to right now the before-mentioned indictments returned this past Thursday by a sitting Montgomery County grand jury. 11 people indicted, 12 indictments returned altogether on various drug, criminal, and other charges. Sagersville police officer Tracy Salyer testified before the grand jury that he had arrested Sandra Shepard of Sagersville on a charge of possession of a controlled substance in the first degree, a first offense charge for which she was officially indicted, the indictment claiming that she was in possession of methamphetamine at the time of her arrest. 2 indictments returned against a John Chris LeMaster of Sagersville, the first on charges of burglary, and the third, possession of burglary tools, resisting, menacing, and public intoxication of a controlled substance. This case goes back to March of last year when a break-in or attempted break-in was reported at the liquor store on Route 40. And upon arrival of the Kentucky State Police, they found that someone had broken into the basement but didn't gain access into the actual store. However, further investigation revealed that they found John C. LeMaster passed out behind the wheel of his car with his burglary tools in his lap and other items a short distance down the road, for which he was arrested on the before-mentioned charges and now officially indicted. Trooper Jimmy Stratton was the grand jury witness listed for that indictment. However, LeMaster was also indicted in a separate case, this brought before the grand jury by Montgomery County Sheriff's Deputy Reggie Gosser on charges of burglary in the second degree and theft by unlawful taking of a firearm. This relates to October of last year. He was said to have been inside a residence owned by Austin and April Back, and when he left, he took with him a firearm that belonged to someone in the family, said to have been a high point 9mm, thus indicted on burglary in the second and theft by unlawful taking. In the case of the Commonwealth versus Brandon Perkins, he's one of 2 people indicted on theft by unlawful taking or disposition of a firearm, as well as theft by unlawful taking between $500 and $10,000. Complicity charges, as he and a female are accused of being given a ride by an Ollie Alsop back in May of last year, but when they got out of his vehicle or pickup truck, they took with them or stole a Smith & Wesson handgun, a 9mm handgun, that was later recovered by the Montgomery County Sheriff's Department and returned to Alsop, with Deputy Reggie Gosser presenting the information or case before the grand jury. The female, identified as being complicit to that theft and charged with the same counts as well, theft by unlawful taking of a firearm and theft by unlawful taking was identified by authorities and the indictment received today as Jarrah Mead of Salyersville. Jerry Shepard was listed in a 9-count indictment, with the complaining witness, Zach Haney of the Kentucky State Police, indicted on 2 counts of possession of a controlled substance in the first with a drug unspecified, another count of possession of a controlled substance in the first, possession of a controlled substance in the third degree, possession of marijuana, paraphernalia as well, and a controlled substance not in its proper container. This goes back to what was just a traffic stop on Back Branch in Magoffin County on around the 29th day of last September, when Haney pulled up to Shepard's vehicle while he was sitting beside the road, where he was found to be in the possession of methamphetamine and a quantity of pills and marijuana. James Roger Duty of Salyersville was indicted on a count of burglary in the second degree. This goes back to events in January of 2013. The indictment simply reads that he was or committed the offense of burglary in the second degree with the intent to commit a crime when he knowingly entered or remained unlawfully in a structure or dwelling occupied at the time by Quest Care Ambulance Service. That case brought before the grand jury by Trooper Dustin Thompson of Post 9. Roy Alsop was named in an indictment for 2 counts of wanton endangerment of a police officer, reckless driving, and 2 counts of fleeing and evading police. The case goes back to October the 26th of last year, a complaint coming into the Magoffin County Sheriff's Department about a suspicious individual in Middle Fork. It was there that Magoffin County Sheriff's Deputy Reggie Gosser made contact with the individual, turned on his blue lights, but that man fled him on an ATV onto the strip job. Gosser obtained an arrest warrant for Alsop a few days later, and while attempting to serve back in the Middle Fork area, he encountered him again on an ATV, and he attempted to flee the authorities again, but was apprehended on the second time. Chad Patrick of Robinson Creek was indicted on account of possession of a controlled substance in the first degree and trafficking in a controlled substance. Trooper Dustin Thompson says that he was in possession of heroin, a Schedule I narcotic, for which he believed that he had the intent to sell. Thomas Price of Salyersville was indicted on charges related to the theft of a motorcycle. The motorcycle was said to have been in his possession in Salyersville when he approached someone about selling it, claiming that it was his and that he needed cash. It was a 1998 Honda XR70R motorcycle that was sold to another individual without revealing that it had been stolen. Price also has several other active theft warrants in his name at this time. Melissa Goodman of Paint Lick, indicted on account of possession of a controlled substance in the first degree, possession of marijuana, possession of a controlled substance in the second degree, and operating a motor vehicle under the influence, second offense, on around the 30th day of March of 2015, and the following day as well. She was said to have been in possession of a controlled substance in the first degree. She was in possession of methamphetamine, in possession of marijuana, as well as being in possession of a Schedule III narcotic, and found to be driving under the influence. And a supervised visit led to the indictment of Teresa Basham of Salyersville. On or around the 16th day of June of last year, she was involved in a supervised visit with some children while DSS was observing. They observed one of the children picking at her clothing, and after the visit was over, found that she had in her bra a plastic baggie inside a quantity of oxycodone, and she was charged with possession of a controlled substance in the first, public intoxication of a controlled substance not in its proper container, and endangering the welfare of a minor, 2 counts.
I'll have more headlines after just a few words from a few of our sponsors. Remember, anytime you have the chance, be sure and let them know you're watching. I'll be right back. To get high-speed internet on their state-of-the-art fiber optic network for all of your home and business solutions, or to watch TV without a contract on over 200 digital channels with superb quality, or stay connected with family and friends with 24/7 telephone service you can always depend on, contact Foothills Broadband today. Or just click on their link to the right to find out how they're working to provide the latest in communications at affordable prices with exceptional service at Foothills Broadband.
A helicopter was not needed for a single car crash that happened in Magoffin County just earlier this afternoon. However, as many of you have heard, by now. A helicopter did crash en route to a car accident early this morning around 5:30 or so, and was an Air Methods unit, one of the company that, of course, responds to much of the viewing area quite often. But this was Kentucky 2, stationed at Mount Sterling, which was responding to Lee County, and on board were 3 crew, of course, the pilot, a nurse, and a paramedic as well. A woman had been thrown from her vehicle in a single car crash in Lee County this morning. They were en route and very near the landing zone. However, they believe maybe high winds may have forced the helicopter down rather quickly, and we are glad to report that all survived. The paramedic, the only one taken to the hospital for a leg injury, non-life-threatening, while the nurse and pilot both refused treatment. Just an amazing outcome to what could have been a much worse situation. You do not hear of medical helicopters crashing all that often, but it does indeed happen. In this case, everyone will survive and more or less walked away. Single car crash was reported to 911 and local emergency officials around 3:15 this afternoon. The accident happening on Route 30 near the junction with Craft Creek.
This was the scene. The original call saying that 2 men were still inside the car and unconscious. Rescue personnel and the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department arrived to find that 2 men were still in the vehicle and that the passenger's head had hit the windshield, suffering head and facial injuries and lacerations. The second occupant, unknown if it's the driver or not because he was in the back seat, was also still in the vehicle. It's believed that both men were unrestrained at the time of the impact. Both were transported by the TranStar ambulance service after the McGoffin County Rescue Squad assisted with packaging and getting into the ambulance. Deputy Neil Adams of the McGoffin County Sheriff's Department is investigating the crash. Once again, a single car crash, no other vehicles involved.
Another court appearance. He has been being kept or lodged in Laurel County now for the past several weeks. He is attempting to get an appeal on his drug sentence of over 20 years in federal prison.
Howard Harlowback, who was 77 at the time, was actually sentenced to 22 years and a $500,000 fine back in November of 2013 on account of conspiracy to distribute oxycodone and 12 counts of distribution of oxycodone after a 3-day trial that took place in U.S. District Court in Pikeville. He's appearing before the same judge. He did so earlier today in Laurel County. He's been serving his sentence at a medical facility in North Carolina, but brought to Laurel County for court proceedings where he is requesting an appeal. That appeal has not been granted as of yet, but he has requested one. His case today was laid over after he told the court that he had not had enough time to get the information before him together for his request. He is requesting an appeal on the basis that he was not properly represented during his trial, in which he had fired himself and then fired his attorney and then represented himself, turning down a court-appointed lawyer after that. A court date has not been set, but a new court date will be given in regards to, once again, what is still a request for an appeal in his federal drug case. More headlines in a moment. Right now, announcements and a birthday wish per your McGoffin Farm Bureau community calendar. And this one reads, Happy 51st birthday to Wayne Keaton, with a lot of love from Jeanette and each and every one of your 21 grandkids. Happy 51st birthday to you. This just in from everyone at North McGoffin Elementary, and specifically Principal James Keith Isaac. The Site-Based Council regular session that was set for tomorrow at North McGoffin at 4:30 has been canceled. Now, the meeting will be rescheduled at a later date, which has not been announced as of yet, but tomorrow's North McGoffin Site-Based Council has been canceled and is to be announced. And a reminder about the benefit to be held in honor of Louetta Helton, who was laid to rest earlier today of Sagersville. This benefit to be held at the Country Music Highway Museum this Thursday at 7. They're going to have an auction, donations of a monetary value or of items to be auctioned off, all greatly appreciated. Once again, this event during the Front Porch Pickin' Entertainment this Thursday beginning at 7 at the, once again, Country Music Highway Museum. You can call the numbers there on the bottom of your screen if you'd like to donate or find out more. All right, kids and moms and dads, I got an important one for you. If you are wanting to get some fundamentals with basketball, it's called the On Point Ballers Clinic. Now, this is for boys and girls in grades K through 8 in McGoffin County interested in focusing on ball handling, shooting, just the basic skills and more. Carla Booth, runner-up for Miss Kentucky basketball and an All-American, is the instructor. She's also the 15th Region Player of the Year and just got back from a tour in Scotland with the USA Athletics International team. So see how she's got some credits and a wonderful resume. This is who you want your kids learning from. With her love of the game and love for teaching kids, you can find her skills on Facebook or more about her, as well as on the Sports City U Facebook page. This is once again at the McGoffin County High School this Sunday, one day only. And here's how it's going to work. It's going to start at 4 o'clock for grades K through 3. It just lasts an hour for just $10, so it's great timing. 4th through 8th graders will start at 5:30 and last for an hour and a half, and that's $15. And all you have to do is show up in plenty of time before the classes start to get registered. So that's one that I'll be telling you about the rest of the week for this Sunday. And a reminder, you've just got a couple of days left. That's until this Thursday to get your order in for those wonderfully tasty chocolate-covered strawberries to help support Project Graduation. Get a dozen for $25. Order them by the end of this Thursday by calling Becky Allen at the high school at 349-2011. You can pick them up for Valentine's Day. The Mount Sinai Church of God is also dipping berries for a fundraiser. You can get them in groups of 3, 6, or a dozen. Order yours by Friday and pick them up on Valentine's Day as well. Call Rita at 349-2835. And whatever you do, call me when you've got a calendar announcement, birthday, anniversary, or otherwise, or send it to me any way you like. And brought to you by the McGoffin County Funeral Home, a reminder of services to be held for 58-year-old Judith Ann Marshall Collinsworth of West Maple Street. Services to be held this Thursday at 1. She was married to John Philip Collinsworth, who survives. She's also survived by her son, Josh. Visitation will be after 6 o'clock this evening, all day tomorrow, and prior to Thursday's services that start at 1, all from the McGoffin County Funeral Home. And services for 84-year-old Mabel Likens Howard of Bloomington Road are going to be held this Friday at 1. She was married to Dexter Howard, who preceded her in death. She survived by sons Daryl, Gerald, and Greg, as well as daughters Tolia Howard and Deborah Wedding. Visitation will be after 5 o'clock tomorrow, all day Thursday, and up until Friday's services. Once again, they start at 1, and they will be held at the McGoffin County Funeral Home.
A couple of things in baseball to mention tonight. The Lady Hornets hosting Morgan County tonight. Tip-off for the varsity game set for 7:30. I know where you can find some highlights tomorrow evening around this time. We hope you'll join us for that. And I failed to mention last night, I was feeling pretty rough around the edges yesterday. I failed to mention, in a little more specificity, the 57th District Tournament, which has now been set with pairings to be set very, very soon.
Yeah, real quickly, just to let you know, the 57th District Tournament is going to be held the week of the 20th. It starts on Monday here in McGoffin County this year, hosting in the new McGoffin County High School. Now, they'll be drawing this coming Monday, a week ahead of time, for matchups. And, of course, right now, if things go as is predicted by standings thus far, there is a likelihood of a tie in the boys bracket for first place, a 3-way tie. That will be decided by the flip of a coin or a drawing, however they so choose, on this coming Monday. That drawing will be held in McGoffin County here at the high school, and I know something else that you'll be able to find out more about on the program thereafter, because we'll be there as well. But district tournament action tips off Monday the 20th. It lasts that entire week. We'll be giving you games, schedules, and pairings throughout the week, and talking about it more as soon as they are made. And we will have more on that beginning at the first of next week. But mark it down, and you want to get your tickets and seats as soon as possible, because it's going to be a packed house. As big as that high school is, they're going to fill it up for district tournament time starting on the 20th. Now, before I try to go catch some of those highlights for the Hornet Lady Cougar matchup tonight, here is your weather outlook. And outside, showers are still falling, but light and scattered, and they will be ending in the next few hours tonight. Showers likely maybe up before 9 or so, and then certainly becoming even more so scattered thereafter. Mostly cloudy skies. Winds right now, I'm clocking one from the west at 4 miles an hour. We had one peak at 12 here a short time ago, so winds not as great to deal with as they have been, of course, as this front made its way through. We have seen gusts upwards of 25 miles per hour or so at the newsroom earlier today, and still the possibility there, but this is in the forecast. The winds are going to be calming, and we're going to see them in the single digits for much of the overnight. Tomorrow we'll be in the high double digits as far as the 50s are concerned. 57 for your daytime high on Wednesday. We have a cold front coming that will give us our next round of precipitation. Won't be early tomorrow. I think your timing is that we'll have a chance of showers, thunderstorms, maybe after 5 o'clock tomorrow. And then as that cold front comes in and puts us just below freezing at 29 or so tomorrow night, where nighttime lows, that white stuff, that wet stuff will possibly turn to white, maybe a light little coating of some snow with winds out of the west at 3 to 5. And then by Thursday, we're going to be well above freezing, and anything that might be left will be in the form of maybe some snow showers very early, but then, of course, changing to rain thereafter. Still can't rule out a thunderstorm or two tomorrow night, but into your Thursday, we should be becoming mostly sunny, I think. Maybe even relatively quick, so that will be nice. So sunny and 55 after maybe a slow start on your Thursday. Clear skies that night with temperatures just above freezing at 33. Friday pretty clear and nice and sunny and 47. Then another round of some showers comes along with some warm air. Friday night's low around 40 with a 20% chance of showers. Showers are quite possible for your weekend, as are going to be some very mild temperatures. 58 Saturday, 63 on your Sunday. And for now, ladies and gentlemen, that's my time. I had a great interview today with some great minds of the Harold Whitaker Middle School academic team. I look forward to sharing that report and some other exclusive news and information that we're working on for you when we see you back here tomorrow night for more of Your News Today. For now, thank you so much for watching and being a part of the show. See you next time.